And some people, of course, want you, if you're doing something about Orson Welles, they don't want a film, they want a documentary.
Yeah.
And they'd only really be satisfied if the Orson himself was doing it and telling it exactly, his tall tales.
All right.
There is that element. This is an entertainment.
Right.
And I'm playing a character.
So,
But I have to say
no, I
that
disagree.
I did not
Yeah.
play a caricature, and I can show from several different, and that's all we have the myth.
Right.
But from different points of view, and real people who, base the behavior
Right.
in the film. I based it on real events.
Right, exactly. Well, that's why it's getting such good reviews too, because the people who played it before have played it as a caricature, especially the guy in The Cradle of Rock, who was
Angus McFadden.
McFadden was a very nice actor, but the way the part was written, I don't see. You could have played that part and it would probably come out the same.
But he
But
I Orson, you played him as a drunk, didn't you?
Yeah, drunken before.
I think he had a lot to do
Yeah,
at
it was
that
like
point.
this man, it wasn't like this is the man who was capable of directing a play like The Cradle of Rock. You never
Yeah.
got the idea of the process there.
But
Which
Charlie-
is why I like your movie so much.
I think there's this impulse
Yeah.
to chip away at Wells and bring him off his pedestal and reduce him to less than what people think, but it's kind of impossible, look what he leaves us, look what
Well,
he
it
did.
is, because people like David Thompson, just a few months ago, he's saying, decline and follow Wells again. He just loves to.
How do you qualify success if that's a
Yeah.
failure?
Yeah,
It's
what have
pretty
you ever done,
bizarre.
Thompson?
Yeah, well, that's what, and the Wellesian partisans, like myself and Jonathan Rosenbaum, are always quick to harp on whenever Thompson comes out with this bizarre. He's just got these bizarre ideas about
Well,
Wells.
people can do that. Wells is this
Yeah. Well, he's like
reflective
a,
where you can project whatever you want
you
onto
see
him.
yourself in him. And it's
Yeah, it says a
pretty
lot about
bizarre.
yourself, how you view the world, and
I love the fact that fact about his character. But the great thing, when I got this, Richard gave me this opportunity. One of the first things we found out was that we agreed to get. I agreed with how Richard wanted to portray Wells, and that was a marvelous, first step.
Uh-huh.
Well,
you had the screenplay though already, right?
Well, it was definitely a book and a screenplay, but it's always a work in progress. So
Right. And
Yeah.
because you had already played him on the stage, so how did you have a lot of input when it came to doing that?
On the stage.
No, I mean when you were actually cast, and then you were going to go forward, because I know the whole story about Richard wasn't going to do it without you. So at that point, could your input go into the story?
I don't think I said that. I'm theatre of the mind. It's going to make it without me.
No, I said that.
He
Oh, you said that. Oh, good.
Yeah,
You're
you were
the one
the,
who said-
you were the Wells. We were trying to get this film made.
You said that you thought he would, he should go with a Hollywood actor,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then Richard stuck with you. So that's why you didn't say that, but
He's
I didn't say
asking
that
about
either.
collaboration. No, we
Right,
spent
so-
months sitting in hotel rooms just going through the script, talking about it.
so your input, because you had already known a lot about Wells, went
Yeah.
into the script too, in a way.
I remember saying, and then being quite shocked at my precocity, of saying he wouldn't say that. And I thought, you don't
that's-
say that to, and Richard said, all right, well, how would he put it?
I
Something
take
like
that very serious, because anytime, just because he's playing Orson Welles, let's remove that. Anytime an actor, what does an actor have to do to have a successful performance? They have to feel like they are the character. So if an actor, no matter who they're playing, says, my character wouldn't say it like that, I'm like, really? Well, why not? That's an interesting topic. Let's talk about that. Why wouldn't they? And so it was the same thing. If Christian had for this performance to work, he had to bring himself. Christian had to bring Christian to this. And fortunately, Christian knew as much about Wells practically as humanly possible. And so, I trusted that instinct incredibly. When he had a strong opinion, I was like, really? Well, we spent so much time just talking about it. I can't even get into specifics now, but that's what our process was. It was really going over every line, every idea.
Richard told me about things that I was very uncomfortable with. There's a slight overtone in the book of Mr. Lev, which of course over the years had become more and more
Yeah, there was-
pronounced.
Right.
And I said, absolutely not. I mean, there's no
We thought that was
prejudice
kind of-
in Orson.
Right.
Yeah, we thought there was some kind of, I thought it would be
But he's the-
ridiculous on film, maybe.
He's the boss.
Yeah.
You call the boss in his own workplace. You wouldn't go up to a CEO of a company and turn around and say, I want my credit, in front of his entire boardroom.
Yeah.
You'd get absolutely thrown out of the window. So, of course, Orson's entirely justified to do that. And then when the little 12-year-old came up to me and she said, you're very nasty to my hero, meaning Zach. And I said, but I tell him on the park bench, just give me tonight. After tonight, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
And she wasn't convinced.
You still hurt her hero.
Yes, sorry. I said,
Sorry.
sorry, I do tell him. She went,
Actually, that's sort of a key scene because
Everyone tells
you
me.
go into that thing how you're playing Brutus and how an actor sees, he's into another state.
Yeah.
And of course you're playing it's like Wells's own Chinese box because you're playing Wells as he would be playing Brutus. So you're playing almost two different people.
Yeah.
Because you can't play Brutus as Christian McKay would play him, but you have to play him as Orson Welles would play him.
it's a
right?
little faster the way Christian played. But yes, of course, we have those marvelous recordings.
Right.
Very voice beautiful, but very of their time. But when you think that the Wells's performance at the time was absolutely groundbreaking.
Right.
He was rather contemptuous of Gielgud at the drawing school, the drawing school Shakespeare, drawing room Shakespeare. But then Gielgud was really the greatest verse speaker in the English-speaking world at that time. There's no doubt about it.
And it's funny, that whole period of 1937, because you had Gielgud just doing Hamlet, and as you point out in the movie, Tertulia was
So
doing...
the Bankhead has that huge
Yeah.
Anthony and Cleopatra.
And it's funny because you have Kazan's granddaughter, and he was doing Golden Boy
yes,
on,
indeed.
Yeah.
right down the street.
He was in
Group
Incredible
theatre,
Run.
Right.
Ilya Kazan had he was one of the actors.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he's
Oh,
in it. He was
wow.
one of the guys
Yeah,
standing up,
so-
yelling from the.
So you're,
From the audience.
actually you never meet Zoe Kazan, do you?
No.
No, I don't. She's the
Orson.
only lady that.
It doesn't come.
But we're very good friends. I adore.
She's
I taught
adorable.
Zoe how to play the little bit of Gershwin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's that whole, it was so funny because I had just seen before I saw your movie, I had seen Bright Star.
Right.
And then, of course, you have the whole thing with Keats. And
Keats
it's
is
like-
everywhere all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful? Keats forever youthful,
But
young people
it's
love
just,
Keats.
the movie is like a cauldron of the arts because it's, it was inspired by a photograph based on a novel,
Mhm.
and you're recreating a play. So it's like anybody interested in the arts, I can't imagine them not being interested in this movie.